Hey guys and gals, welcome back to another episode of Comic Coloring Tips and Tricks. This is Nathan, and we're back coloring this Wolverine cover. Um, let's see. Just to recap. So, a couple episodes ago, can't quite remember which episode it was, but it was the one without audio. I thought I was recording, and ended up my microphone was on mute, and last episode, and probably, I don't know if you could tell or not, but I had to add an additional ending to the video. I had to edit that in. So I did find what my issue was with my frame rates and why they weren't matching up, and when I was importing the videos into Premiere. So that's cool. So hopefully in the future I could do more time lapses and stuff like that. But then last video was right at the end. I guess about 52 minutes in or something like that. I looked over at my microphone and I was like, oh man, it's not recording. So I go over and I stop the recording, my screen capture and everything like that, and I go back to listen to it, and it was recording. I was so paranoid thinking that it wasn't recording, and then it actually was, and I messed up. So I had to go in and actually figure out what the issue was with the frame rate. So I got that worked out. I could do some editing into Premiere now. Because I don't know, I'm just hoping now I don't screw up recording this one. It's just a big pain. And that wasn't even the only thing. After all that, and I'm going through, I was like, oh man, okay. Hadn't quite decided how I was going to approach it, what my course of action was going to be. And in the process, I ended up closing my PSD file. So all the work you saw me do in the video wasn't saved. So I had to go back in, and I was like, all right, am I going to re-record the whole video again as I recolor everything, or should I just use what I have and I'll edit in like a little audio to the end of it, and then recolor everything off camera. So that's what I ended up doing. So if things look a little bit different, that's why. But last episode we colored the smoke, and we started some adjustments on these background characters here, and I'm just gonna do a little bit more, because now that I look at it, it's a couple days later. It's nice to look at it with fresh eyes. Oops. Did I not have a lasso? Okay, there it goes. That was weird. Oops, no. Levels. You can see I'm just down here on Madame Hydra's face. Just kind of getting in, darkening that up just a tad bit more, getting some more contrast in there. Let's see, I'm gonna do Shadow Cat's face, darken that up just a little bit more. The shadow's a little bit darker. And Sabretooth's just looks like it could use like a little bit more contrast, you know what I mean? So I think that looks good, and maybe this Hydra guy. Okay, I think that looks good. Now let's go ahead and start on Wolverine. And I think we'll do flesh tones first. It's usually a good place to start. And lock that down. And I'll just darken it and desaturate. Let me just check my settings. Okay, that's good. Yeah, okay. Cool. So I'm just going to go in the lighter, more pinkish color. And just like always, we're just going to sketch in our shapes. Start thinking about, how everything's going to fall. Where highlights are going to be. Keep that neck relatively dark. So there, and keep the head framed a little bit better. Let's see, yeah, that's locked. Cool. Okay, there it goes. It's weird at first, it seemed like it wasn't working. I guess it was. We move. Sorry, headphone cable was getting in the way. So I think we might end up wrapping this up in this episode. Even if it goes a little bit long, that's fine. So I think it's just Wolverine left, and then some touch-ups. But yeah, I'd like to see suggestions from you guys, like what stuff you'd like to see and other future episodes. Like what should we tackle next week or the week after that? So I think the next video after we complete this whole thing, I think the next one will be the speed tips for getting faster in Photoshop. I think we'll do that next, but after that, don't really have anything concrete planned. So if you guys have any suggestions, just throw those down in the comments, or post them up over on Facebook, or send them to me over on Twitter. I think probably in the comments would probably be best, because it seems like lately I'm always on YouTube, whether if I'm working on watching something in the background or whatever. So try and check Twitter and Facebook. I wouldn't say every day, but a couple times a week I'll check it out and see. I recently found my notebook. I was keeping all my notes in for future episodes and stuff like that, and misplaced it during the move. So I don't know, if I don't get anything, I'll probably just go through there and see what else I could find that might be helpful. That's weird. I mean, after so many videos, it's getting tougher to find stuff that we haven't covered yet. Let's see. Alright, maybe that little bit. Color was I using for? Is it this one? No, it works. 1 second, I'm gonna mess with my microphone. So if you hear anything, that's what it is. I gotta get this headphone cord is in my way. Alright. Hopefully you didn't hear that too much, I don't know. Had to unplug my headphones and wrap the cable around the microphone. Let's see. Just thinking I still owe you guys a Q&A video as well. I mean, I guess I could have pulled out some of those questions while I'm doing this rendering stuff. So, I don't know. I think that looks good. It needs a little bit more highlight on the top. Yeah, that looks better. Yeah, that works. All right, let's merge that down. Let's grab this hair real quick. That on a new layer. Because it's so small, I'm just going to hit it with the dodge tool. Why? Okay, dodge tool, right? Okay, there it goes. I don't think I was hitting any of the keys on accident, but I kept on unselecting the dodge tool, I don't know. Put that to 100%. There we go. Got time for that 30% business. Alright. This is hair. Let's see. So do the orange part next. So again, I'm just gonna darken it and desaturate it. That looks pretty good. Alright. Now just go in with our selections. Oops, brush. There you go. Come on. There's all kinds of weird muscles all up in here that don't really add up, but it doesn't have to. You know, it's comics. We'll just make it look convincing. You know, we don't have to go in and like start fixing like anatomy. Especially like someone like Stephen Platt, you know, it's just part of the style. Alright, there's that bit. So a lot of times if you're unsure about the anatomy and stuff, just remember, you know, it's just basic shapes. You know, how would you... Okay, why is that getting so dark in there? Or so light. You know, yeah, like it's basic shapes. Cylinders, tubes. You know, a car would be just made up of rectangles. You know, it's not the end of the world if you don't feel comfortable, you know, coloring a car. Do you feel comfortable coloring a square? You know, just, I think if you remember it in those types of terms, then, you know, it's not too bad. I'm just going to go back in with a little bit hotter spotlight, specular light, I guess. My dodge tool. It's going to give us like some of that yellow in there. Too much. Oops. Like so. Yeah, I don't want so much that it's distracting. Just a little bit. So one thing you want to check, especially if you're dodging yellows, you see at the top have RGB/CMYK. That's my CMYK preview mode. So, like I was mentioning in the comments before in the other video, it's hitting the Apple or Control Y. So you can see now we're out of preview mode. I'm just making sure that those colors work, you know, because if you go to shift, if you go to dodge the yellows, sometimes what you'll get, let's see if I can do it here. See how that's like a bit much. Sometimes in printing that goes to, let me see, if I go to in preview, I didn't, not too bad on that. I think if it was more blue, then you could probably see it, but what you don't want is to go into where you start getting banding, where, I mean, you can see like circles inside circles, and then you see, like, you know, just shifting more towards green, which is, ugh, it's not look good. Dodge tool. Oh, here we go. No, that's okay. So it's a great time saver, you know, but if you think you want to use it, definitely practice a lot. It's a tougher one to get used to. One of the tools. But I think, you know, once you have it down, like what colors work when you're dodging, and, you know, it's a great asset. You know, it might be worth just to, you know, just pull up a blank canvas one day and just practice dodging different colors and, you know, start learning, you know, which ones work for you and which ones don't. I think that looks decent. I'll take another look in a second here. I'm going to zoom out just to make sure, you know, it's not too, nothing standing out too crazy. Which, I mean, if you know, just a little bit, and I'll, like, now that little muscle standing out way too much and draws way too much attention to itself, so you just gotta watch out. A little bit more on his kneecap there. So that's going to be facing up towards the light, so. I think that looks pretty decent. I think we go in, just going to go with the soft edge brush. Deselect. Just very lightly, just going in, just kind of blending this, you know, some of the selections just a little bit more. Oops, I don't know what the heck that color was. So you can see, I mean, I think this leg is supposed to be coming towards us more, but it's like definitely a lot more yellow on his kneecap than there is everywhere else. I'm just going to go in and add some of that back in here. Okay. It's going to add a little bit of a rim on here. We're using that yellow. And just a little bit on this other side as well. Not much, but just a tad. And I think that looks decent. Alright, let's merge that down to our colors and get into the browns. Almost done. Should have checked the time to see when I started, but oh well. I also probably should have restarted my computer before I started recording. Just feel the slowdown. Alright, so same kind of process. You guys know the drill by now. So these are facing up. This is thumb, finger. Alright, I guess I'll start with the hands. Lots of veins. So you can see that when I'm making my selections and airbrushing, you don't have to, you know, hit up every little section with 3 colors or 4 color, you know. It's just laying your highlight in there and showing, hey, this is where the light source is. You know, some places I'm like down here, and I just had to do that one, you know. Unless I decide to go in with another highlight color, but I think this is working decent so far. We'll see. We'll see when I zoom out. Just making sure I had that on a separate layer. Because this one I probably will go lighter. Yeah, I think that looks good. Maybe we'll just use this lighter color just to hit just a little bit here and there. Yeah, that's pretty good. Alright. I can dig it. And again, I'm just using the side of my soft edge airbrush. And using the flow or the opacity. The pressure sensitivity to dictate, you know, how the color is going to be laid down, which direction, you know, the light's coming from. So here I'm like, you know, starting off really light and then pushing harder as it goes up. Yeah, because that's where my light source is, so. So again, pushing lighter and pushing more heavy towards the light source. You know, it's the best way to get better at this stuff is to practice it. And when I first started working in advertising, coloring storyboards and stuff, like after I'd moved out to California, you know, my boss just wanted me to practice coloring cars. You know, it was like 2 weeks just coloring cars. Not even working on a job or anything like that, just coloring cars. I got so sick of it. Where I was like driving home from work and that's all I could notice is the small details in the car in front of me. It's like, oh, here's how the light hits the bumper, and oh man, I was driving me crazy. But back then that was like a lot of our work from clients was Saturn, Jeep, Jaguar, um, Ford, Chevy. I mean, pretty much all the car manufacturers. But so that's what we need to do is like color cars, and yeah, it was hell doing it. But afterwards, looking back, and I had time to breathe. It was like, wow, doing that really helped out a lot. So I mean, that's like penciler who wants to get better at drawing hands. Just, take a couple days or however long and fill up pages of pages in your sketchbook of just hands. That's how it's gonna work. We just get one of these darker blood colors here. I don't think anybody. Oops, not that one. This one. I don't think anybody's mentioned it, but I forgot which video it is. One of the earlier ones in this series. I think it might have been the second one. I'm not sure what episode number, but you notice in the thumbnail, Sabretooth didn't have any blood on him. And I don't know. Maybe somebody's noticed it, but just hasn't mentioned it or something. But I don't know. It was weird. It was I had done the video, and I had posted it up ahead of time, and didn't have it scheduled, to post or anything like that. It wasn't even that long ahead of time. It was like maybe like I had uploaded it and maybe like 2 days before, so like I uploaded it on a Wednesday, and it was gonna post on Friday, and then I go to switch it to public, and then it already has an exclamation point on it saying, hey, there's issues with your video and it's not going to be monetized. Like, what? Hey, in this whole series of videos I've been posting, over all these years, I don't think I've never really cursed in them. Believe me, I can curse. But, I try and make some, friendly content, because I know that there's younger people, wanting to watch and learn about Photoshop. So, I try and keep it clean. And I was like, I have no idea why else, these would be flagged. They're not even live yet. So I don't know. I mean, once I replaced the thumbnail, it was fine. It wasn't an issue. But some of the other episodes I flagged, I mean, like the hand guys and with the aim guys, blood all over them, like that didn't have any issues at all. So I have no idea what's going on with their system over at YouTube and the Adpocalypse, or as it's I guess being known as. Oops. Just gonna blend this in just a little bit better. Not totally excited about how that looks. That looks better. Alright. Let's see. Oh, yeah, it's red belt. For a second there, I thought we were done. So it's weird. I don't know if that's supposed to be a shadow from the belt or what. So let me just have it like that. That'll be fine. And belt buckle. Just darken that a little bit. A little bit of a highlight. Blades. So I'll just take the good old-fashioned dodge and slide it across there. Now, I think that looks good. Not bad, not bad. I think what we can do, and get this light color up here, and let's pop out his veins a little bit more. Looks decent. Oh yeah, now he's ripped. And I think I'm going to do this on a separate layer here because you can see, there's some kind of a rim lighting here, or what's the correct word? Core shadow set up here. So we'd have like our highlights, the core shadow, and then a reflective light. Like down here, and you have like the cross hatching in the shadow area. It's usually to go ahead and indicate a reflective light. So we're going to go ahead and oblige. But I put it on a separate layer. So over there we can change it. So you just kind of mess around with it, play with it, and see what we think works best. So yeah, just kind of bringing in that bluish color wherever we see that going on. Let's see, okay, oh yeah, here we go. The fingers here. Oh, I'll clean that up in a bit. Don't you worry. Again, just so I get like a nice blend, you can see, you know, half of my brush is outside of my selection. That way there, and it's a soft edge brush. When it gets to that edge of that brush, it's nicely blending with the rest of it. Alright, so you kind of see that, let me turn, well, let me clean this up first. Let's see that, lid, that, his eyes, his blades. Actually, not his blades. Inverse cut. No way, whoa. Let me put on the right layer. Oof, that was a good one. Alright, there we go. Right? Yeah, that looks good. Alright. So you can see width, out, and then width. So you can see it just gives it a little bit more dimension, having that reflective lighting on there. Yeah. You know, I'm really digging that bluish color there too. But let's... Yeah, I think we'll stay with that. And there's like a couple... Let's go ahead and add it down here to some of these. It'll help tie it all together, I believe. Yeah, again, just doing it real subtle down here, because we don't want all the attention, you know, all of a sudden like, oh my god, what's this down here? Like, we don't want that. So just doing it very subtle. Too much. Even more subtle than that. There we go. And the other thing I wanted to do... wanted to introduce a little bit more to her hair here. All right. I think that looks good. Let's see, we have that line art. Let's get another layer underneath where we had done these other two. Colorize the line art on these other guys here. Guess there's a couple. Which one is this? Oh, okay, that's a cigarette tip. Okay. Yeah, I just kind of want to knock these guys back a little bit more. So let's grab a hard edge brush. Now I know it's the same color as the smoke right now. I'm going to darken that a little bit. You don't have to use a brush for this. You can, of course, just go through with your lasso. There are kind of more foreground elements. I think maybe I'll knock this one back. Just to help give it some depth, you know. Let's see, let's grab, oops. There we go. That guy. Yeah, it's all okay. It's a little darker about like such. Oh, let me see. I think we're done. You know, looking at my little thumbnail navigator window up here, and I think everything looks pretty good. Let's just see. Let me get my quick mask on. Oops. No. That guy. These arrows. That arrow. Okay. Cancel those. Get that. Okay, is that all that business down there? Let me change my color here because it's just hard to see anything. Quick mask. All right. Yeah, it looks like everything. All right. Let's put those guys on a separate layer for now as we mess around and try and make some adjustments. I'm going to get an overlay layer on top of it, kind of clip to that. So I want to, oops, make it a soft brush. I think that looks alright. Let me get another layer. See, multiply. Get a dark bluish color you can see. I guess almost indigo. I don't know. let me grab just a smoke color right there, right? Lock that. Fill it with that color. Looks pretty good, I think. Does it have to be? Yeah, okay, there we go. Just put that back to normal. Let me go a little bit darker, I think. We could adjust the line art as well. It's not a huge issue. Just trying to get this darker down here. So, again, the eye is directed to Wolverine right here. We'll try that blue on a multiply. I think that works pretty good. And then maybe what we'll do as well, get that color there. Turn normal, so I don't want to be too dark. Oops, unlock it. That might be nice. I'll show some nice depth in between there. Yeah. And then, so right now, this is all trial and error. Trying to see what works, what doesn't. Little last second kind of touch-ups. I think that looks good, yeah. Yeah, and then they can throw the Wolverine logo here in a nice bright font as well. One more thing I do want to check out. Let me see, that got that, okay. On a layer on top of everything. Let me see. Go back to my hard brush. I throw the shape dynamics on so you can see. I usually work without it. But with it, the shape dynamics gives you like a nice tapered edge. I'm going to just use white in the time being. 100%. Now I know, like, a lot of, if penciler is hiring you to color their work, a lot of pencilers just wouldn't appreciate going over their line art. And as the thing you had to deal with, back in the day, if you're working with somebody, kind of egotistical, like, oh, I'm such and such, and this is why people, pick up this book or whatever. But I don't know. I think if you're working with a decent artist that, cares about the finished product, then they'll realize, hey, man, it is a team effort, and everybody's, trying their hardest to make the book look good. Then they won't have an issue with it. Because a lot of times, I mean, like, you know, the penciler might miss something that could add a lot to the story or whatever, and or the inker might, you know, miss ink something. Does that make sense? You know, think, hey, is this object this? Or like, well, no, it's actually this. You know, I mean, if you're the penciler, hey, great. You know, you can make all the changes you want. But a lot of times, in my experience, you know, pencilers are pretty picky about, you know, anybody else messing with their stuff. So, you might have to check with your editor, whatever, you know, before you try anything like this. Or if you have access to the penciler, you know, asking them about it or whatever. But I just want to test this out real quick and see how it works. Let's see, yeah, those are all facing that one. Then we go on top of that and heat it up with a hard light, maybe? I don't know, it's all guesswork. You know, might change that to an overlay, or might change it to a screen or lighten. Where am I going? Oh yeah, soft brush. Okay, hard light does not work. Screen. What about color dodge? No. Screen. Yeah, maybe a little something like that. I don't know. Does that lighten look better? Nah, screen looks good. I could try a little something like that maybe. In this case, I don't think it works so great. Let's try something else. One more thing. Let's do a gradient. Let me set that to overlay. That might be too cool. Like, not in like, wow, that looks awesome, but cool it is in like value wise, not warm. Let's see. I still, no, I didn't have that. I guess I gotta pick his hair first and then deselect him. Okay. And deselect her. Brown. Belt. Yellow. Deselect this blood. I'll put you on a separate layer so I have that selection. Oops, and then his eyes too. I thought I got that. Oh well. Redo that selection. Alright. Like that. Now we'll just cut that out. Is that too much? Hard light. Oh, let me. All the flats as well. Yeah, maybe if we drop it down to 50%, I think that works. Well, what if now? I was like, oh, what if we do this? What if we do this? I think one of the things we have to remember as well is, you always have to keep track of your time. You don't want to be spending 20 hours on a cover. When you have like half the book left to do. 20. You know what? I'm really digging that. That looks pretty cool. If I take that other one off, no. I think with that. I'm digging that. You know what? I think it's done. So yeah, just remember to keep track of your time. Don't go overboard. I mean, I think this is now 6 parts, 7 parts. Some of the parts are an hour. Yeah, you don't want to be spending that much time, coloring a piece. You got too much other stuff you have to do. Oops, that's on that. Hello. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I mean, you gotta remember, keep track of that stuff. You don't want to spend too much time on anything, and something's always gonna pop up you're not happy with. You just got to get over it. There's so many books. I look back at when I first started coloring, and I was all excited, and and then the color separations were handled by somebody else, and then I'd get the books back. Excuse me. Get the books back, or after they'd been published, we go to the store and look at them in person, and just looks nothing like what I had wanted in my colors, and you just got to let it go, move on to the next. I mean, what's the saying? Finished. Not. You're looking to finish. You're not looking to make it perfect. Let's see. Last step. I don't think I have it here. Oh well. Yeah, I don't think I have my font anymore. I have to find it. But new layer. Let me see. Hard edge brush. I guess we'd use that same blue, huh? Lumm. I think a lot of guys have heard my rules, and that's not oh, you have to do it this way, but you don't want to be like this, and then everybody just sees your name on it, or you don't want to sign the piece on top of everybody else, really big or anything, because there is a hierarchy, oh, let me do my name super huge. It doesn't work like that. The hierarchy, it's the penciler on top, the inker, so then my name would be the colors down here on the bottom. But usually what I do as well is I'll make it subtle. My ego's not so big where I need to hey everybody, look what I did. It's fine. We can even slip it underneath the line art where it fits in there better. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, a lot of times if the penciler and inker don't sign it, or if it's repurposed art, if the art was for something else, it was a panel or something like that, and now it's gonna be a poster, but the artist didn't sign it, or it wasn't photoshopped in, with the artist's signature, then I won't even put my name on it, because it's not fair to everybody else that worked on the piece. Hey, here's my name. So just some stuff to keep in mind. I need to find the font I was using for my signature. I don't even have like an old image on this computer I could grab. I think I backed everything up. But that is going to do it. We're done. That is a cover. My thought process, as jumbled as it may be, I can't give you one more. Alright, there we go. And there we go. Done. So, yeah, if you have any questions about the process or ideas for other stuff you'd like to see, if you'd like to see some more progress stuff, feel free to let me know. If you have any pieces that you're wondering like how to tackle, send me a link if it's online. Maybe we could work it through together. I'll start now that I have a way to do. I know my process to have to get my files into Premiere so I can edit. Now that I know how to do that, I'll start working on that Q&A video as well. But yeah, I think next up we'll be talking about how to get faster in Photoshop. But that's gonna do it for this episode. And now that we've completed this, that'll be it for this this walkthrough series. So yeah, thanks a lot for watching. If you guys learned anything, hit that like button. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe. And the links for the social media stuff will be in the description down below. And thanks a lot for watching, guys. And I'll see you next time. All right, bye-bye.